Hi, I'm Louise Yohe Klein.
And hi, I'm Marome Klein. For the past 20 plus years, we've worked with business, healthcare, and government leaders who are highly successful innovators. And we've helped them upgrade their leadership to get funded, get support, get traction, and get ahead.
We're proud of the innovation leaders we've advised. They've achieved some amazing successes with new technologies, new drugs and therapies, new safety standards, and new ways of partnering across companies and agencies in their value chain.
All these successful innovation leaders started with a great idea and a clever new product or service to address an unmet need, just like you. But the question is, what happens when problems arise and bugs have to be fixed, as they always do, or when users have to be convinced to switch from what they're doing now and adopt something new? When adversities occur or are about to occur, it's the leaders who can shift the conversation out of a risk-averse obsession with what could go wrong and into an inventive conversation about how we're going to get things right, who get funded, get support, get traction, and get ahead.
Experienced buyers, investors, and collaboration partners know how important your leadership is and that it's your leadership that will chart a positive path through the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and adversity, what we call the VUCA conditions that arise whenever you're launching something new, better, and different. In VUCA conditions, reasonable people get afraid of the hundreds of things that could go wrong and they pull back, while unreasonable people build courage to lift themselves and others out of that fear and into an inventive, how we solve the problems mindset instead.
So, by building courage, you'll learn to be unreasonable in a way that gets enough other people to be unreasonable with you. You'll lift all but the most entrenched, unreachable, risk averse level zero curmudgeons out of level one and level two hesitation and fault finding to level three action, level four co creation, and level five advocacy. Because it's when you generate enough level four and level five momentum and hit a tipping point that the magic happens. And that's when you get funded, get support, get traction, and get ahead.
In this introductory webinar, we'll give you the 5 proven courage building steps that the most successful innovation leaders use to build courage in the people they're trying to engage for funding, support, traction, and advancement opportunity. Whether it's in a pitch meeting, a strategy workshop, a problem solving scrum, an email exchange, a teleconference, a hallway conversation, or a networking encounter. So they focus on possibilities and opportunities. And so they look at risks and threats with an inventive, how do we solve this mindset rather than a risk averse, it will never deliver enough value mindset.
And then we'll end this webinar with a call to action, an assessment that'll tell you if you have the potential and the readiness to use the 5 courage building steps and lift yourself out of risk averse traps to power up level 4 and level 5 inventive thinking in yourself and in the partners that you hope to mobilize.
If you want to skip right to the end now to take the assessment and to see if you have the readiness and potential to lift prospective partners, buyers, and investors to level 4 and level 5, go to the URL that's on this slide or go to our website, couragegrowthpartners.com, and look for the tab that asks, Are you ready?
Or stay with us if you want to see the 5 steps that you can use to build courage and generate enough inventive thinking to get funded, get support, get traction, and get ahead.
From 3 decades of research on highly successful versus moderately successful innovation leaders, we've learned what these 5 steps can give you. And 3 decades of coaching and training with thousands of innovation leaders have demonstrated how the leaders who follow through and do what it takes become highly successful.
In the rest of this webinar, we'll take you through the 5 steps, and then we'll challenge you to take some concrete actions to get started if you've got the readiness and potential to put these 5 steps to work.
Step 1. Actify passion, energy, enthusiasm. If you walk into a room that's trapped in risk-averse thinking with curmudgeons and naysayers at level 0 and level 1, your joy, enthusiasm, warmth, and engagement don't have to be stifled unless you allow them to be. You have control over how you choose to feel and how you choose to express your emotions.
If you say, I just couldn't help it, they were hostile, you're stuck at level 1 and you're in victim trap thinking. If you make eye contact, you smile warmly, you project a confidence can do attitude, and you let even the harshest skeptics know that you'll welcome in depth due diligence and appreciate their interest in the details, you'll elevate your presence and your emotional intelligence to level 5.
Innovation leaders who maintain their presence, poise, positivity, and heartfelt connection garner more interest and support than those who are like deer in headlights or who fight hostility with even more hostility. If you have the emotional intelligence to be comfortable and poised with conflict, disagreement, creative abrasion, and diverse personalities, who occasionally do rub each other the wrong way, you'll be far more effective wrestling down tough issues and getting them solved to optimize value creation.
Actify passion so your warmth, radiance, engagement becomes contagious and lifts the tone in the room. This is the heart of innovation that's a choice you can make and a skill you can master. It's a skill that can make the best of your natural personality, whether you're a bubbly cheerleader or a hard to please, always strive for more visionary. That is, if you walk into a room, you read the tone, and you bring it from wherever it starts to where you want it to be.
Step 2. Aim high with a value proposition that delivers wealth by achieving a noble purpose. If you enter the room with an engaging, positive presence, you'll command 20 to 60 seconds of attention to deliver a clear, compelling impact statement. At the end of the impact statement, you'll want level 3, level 4, and level 5 partners to suspend disbelief and be intrigued enough to say, "Tell me more."
So think of your impact statement as an abstract or an executive summary that declares who will benefit from your innovation initiative and how it will make a difference. If it's well crafted, you should be able to deliver it with emotional, not just intellectual impact in the length of a 3-floor elevator ride or a 1-minute TV advertisement.
Let me give you an example. This psoriasis drug delivers relief from embarrassing symptoms in 3 weeks without the side effects and dangers of the immunosuppressants that currently are on the market. Given its safety profile, we believe we can get it on the market in 2 to 3 years and deliver a huge, fast return to our investors while dramatically improving the lives of patients who hide indoors suffering from this life-limiting disease and reducing complications, which will make it less expensive for payers to treat these same patients.
Or here's another one. This proven 5-step courage building formula doesn't just make you more engaging and more joyful and effective under VUCA pressures. Learn it and use it, and it'll equip you to get funded, get support, get traction, and get ahead so you achieve your business ambitions.
If your benefit or impact statement is compelling, you should get a response like, "Hey, tell me more. How does it work? Tell me what it costs," or "What do you need?"
You know, in our work with innovation leaders, we're amazed how often they haven't followed the money and don't know who's likely to pay for the innovation and what economic impact it's got to deliver that makes it worth the time, trouble, and risk for a buyer to switch from what they're using now. or to do without an upgrade.
Hmm.
If you haven't analyzed your product market fit for payers as well as users, it's going to be hard for you to craft a compelling impact or benefit statement. For example, if you're focused on what doctors or nurses say, you might not be thinking of the hospital purchasing committees or payers. And they're the ones who actually purchase and
Hmm.
give the go ahead for doctors and nurses to use the innovation. So without them, you may have a great innovation that never actually gets on formulary.
Even the most successful innovation leader of all time, Alexander Graham Bell, was so in love with his telephone and so reassured with the backing he got from seed investors and the awards he won at technology expos that he didn't see how adoption was lagging because he wasn't offering a clear economic benefit. For 10 years, he went to expo after expo, but sold virtually no telephone installations. It wasn't enough to be able to say, "Watson, come here, I want to see you," and have a voice come out of the other end of the line in the lab. No, it wasn't until Bell met a collaborator whom he was reluctant to invite into his inner circle, who had a totally different business model and a second add on technology upgrade that Bell himself never envisioned. That gave the telephone its commercial potential. In our century, rather than Bell's, your investors and beta customers won't wait 10 years. So you've got to define your business case and impact statement far faster.
So if we work together, we'll help you refine what your prospective supporters will want to see to be wowed by your impact statement and ask, tell me more. Then we'll help you take the big, exciting value proposition and segment it into SMART goals, specific, measurable, A-level, relevant, time-bound aims that you can track, assign, and hold yourself and others accountable for achieving with a sense of pride and accomplishment to show that you're on track for value creation.
Step 3, ask inquisitively to profit from diverse insights and perspectives. The tragic mistake that far too many innovation leaders make is tuning out input, questions, or feedback from people who don't agree with them, or from people who have professional or cultural backgrounds that are different from their inner circle. Even Alexander Graham Bell nearly tanked his fledgling company with one of the most important inventions of all time because the collaborator who stepped in and said, "I know how to make this a commercial success," wasn't someone Bell saw as a high status, marquee value thought partner.
So to avoid risk-averse traps like tunnel vision, groupthink, summit fever, bias against creativity, regression to what's comfortable and familiar, we'll ask whether you're getting feedback and input from a wide and diverse enough group of partners. When you call a group together for a telecon or a live meeting, we'll ask, do you notice if women or foreign born
Mhm.
experts who speak with an accent and choose their words carefully get cut off before they can finish a sentence? Do you notice if a few dominant personalities hog the airtime, roll their eyes, and shake their heads, or say bluntly, we don't appreciate and we're not open to your ideas? Do you notice? If you do notice, do you build courage so ideas can be judged on their merits, not because of bias against certain teammates, even if the perpetrators of that bias have little self awareness and deny that they're biased?
For example, in one pharma company we advised, the medical director refused to accept questions, risk assessments, or ideas from anyone else in the leadership team. He turned debates about study design, statistical analyses, case reports, and operations into a test of who's in charge and an attack on his place in the hierarchy. Now, we wish we could tell you the courage prevailed, that the MD had an epiphany and welcomed risk assessments and ideas to mitigate risks from PhDs, statisticians, and experienced clinical operations leaders. But he didn't. I don't have time to tell them why they're wrong, he said. I'm the MD. When I say the sky is blue, that should be all they need.
Now, if this is your form of courage, you better be right when you say, I'm not going to consider other views. I'm sticking to my guns. Unfortunately, this MD wasn't right. And the risks that as statisticians, clinical ops managers, and behaviorists predicted, in fact, came true. As a result, the clinical trial failed to reach statistical significance by a mere 23 out of 100ths of a percent. And that 23 hundredths of a percent was enough of a miss to drop the company's stock price from $11 a share to $2 a share in less than 24 hours. It never recovered.
So, if we advise you to be open and transparent about the challenges you'll face, seek input from other disciplines, and when risk assessments are offered, use level 4 inventive thinking to validate and mitigate the risks. Understand, we've seen what can be lost when risk assessments are squelched and when smart people are more focused on winning arguments and preserving their hegemony than profiting from diverse perspectives in their network.
So some of the questions you might ask for open discussion that lifts inventive thinking are, what do you think about the benefits that we're describing in our impact statement? Is there anything else that you think that users and payers would want to achieve? What do you think about the risks that we're planning to mitigate? Is there anything else that could affect our success? What feedback do you and your advisors have about our plans? How will you decide whether to support us and stay with us even when we face difficulties?
And always ending with a positive question. What excites you about being part of this success?
Step 4, align diverse and conflicting interests. Trust is what makes it possible to be open to opposing positions when you ask inquisitively, and makes it possible to put we ahead of me you aim high for optimal system-wide value creation, rather than compromising in order to appease some factions or special interests.
In one of our innovation leadership simulations, which we call adding value, some groups earn more than 1 million by partnering across silos. While others finish with only a few $100s of profit. In the teams that earn 1 million or more, it's always the more introverted team members who quietly go to level 4 in their heads and figure out how the pieces can be shared to optimize wealth creation. Likewise, there's always an impatient dominant presence in the group who says, like the MD in our pharma company example, I just don't get it. That'll cost our team too much. So we're just not going to do that.
So the question is, if you're a bystander watching that interaction, how do you react? In the groups that achieve $1 million, bystanders intervene and build trust rather than waiting for trust to appear. They lift the group from risk-averse traps like silo myopia, bias against creativity, hierarchy deference, where they're stuck at level 2 and level 3, to level 4 and level 5 in inventive thinking and culture shaping. Where creative abrasion sharpens the group and opens new possibilities to multiply value creation.
In groups that achieve far less less value. Even down to just $1. Bystanders go passive, or they figure out which way the political winds are blowing and become champions for one side only, rather than looking for ways that diverse interests can come together to multiply value creation and create win-win-win optimized solutions.
Now, researchers at Wharton, MIT, USC, Harvard, York University, McGill have said that trust builders and value multipliers approach conflicts, abrasion, and creative tension with a giver orientation rather than a taker orientation.
Takers may be pleasant, but they look at conflicts with a what can I gain or what can my side gain perspective. At some key points, they dig in their heels or they up their demands and push others out of the way and win a battle but lose the war. Or they miss possibilities like the 1 million in adding value because they won't sacrifice their funding, their